Hey everybody, how's it going? MrNFLDavid back here in a new episode of where I preview the divisions of the NFL. Last time we did the NFC East. This time we are going to do the NFC North. Um, NFC North, a very interesting division. Much like the NFC East, very powerful division. Uh, Definitely need to look out for some of the teams here. So we're gonna start off like we did last time, last to first. Um, Last place this year, unfortunately, once again, will be the Detroit Lions. Um, However, I do like the Detroit Lions and what they're finally starting to look up. I think Ndamukong Suh is gonna be very dangerous defensive tackle in the NFL. Kyle Vanden Bosch, great addition to that line. He'll really help out in the pass rush. Louis Delmas in the secondary is really going to have to play well. And Dre Bly too, because their secondary is still kind of weak. Linebacking core took a gigantic hit losing Larry Foote and Ernie Sims. But the thing that I really like about them is their offense. Matthew Stafford looked great last year. And in my opinion, Calvin Johnson, just an amazing athlete. I mean, I think really his potential is, the sky's the limit for this guy, really. He could go as far as he wants because he has just such great physical abilities, such great size, and just amazing speed. And like I said, Matthew Stafford, great player, great arm, and seemed like he had good decision making last year. I also like the rookie they drafted in Javid Best. He's something else. He's very capable of explosive plays. However, he's not going to be starting. Kevin Smith will. But Kevin Smith and Javid Best definitely a great 1-2 punch because Kevin Smith's much more of a downhill power type back, and Javid Best is kind of more of a outside kind of quicker guy. So I really like that. Third place, the Chicago Bears. Well, I just don't know what to say about Chicago Bears. Jay Cutler's really got to play better. I think he will. I think Mike Martz, they signed him as an offensive coordinator this year, really is going to help Jay Cutler develop. I think you saw what he did for Matthew Stafford last year, where Matthew Stafford really just played well. Or was he even there in Detroit last year? I'm not sure, but either way, Mike Martz is going to be great for Jay Cutler. Yeah, no, he wasn't in Detroit last year, I don't think, but whatever, don't listen to me blabber about Mike Martz, but Jay Cutler really needs to step it up. Offensively, Matt Forte, great running back as far as I could tell. Pretty good size and pretty good explosiveness. Of course, you got Devin Hester, one of the most dangerous guys in the NFL, on that team. And Johnny Knox was a guy that I think a lot of people need to remember that name and look out for because he was something else last year. But second place now. Got to go with this is also very. The other thing about this call is very dependent on one player, and that player goes by the name of Brett Favre. Because it's possible that without Brett Favre, the Vikings could drop pretty low in this division. However, I'm going to call second place as the Green Bay Packers. A very dangerous team. Aaron Rodgers is just a great quarterback. I mean, if they could put together a good year, if Brett Favre doesn't come back, definitely I'd pick the Packers over the Vikings, but with Brett Favre, the Vikings are too good. So, but anyways, let's not talk about the Brett Favre and the Vikings. Let's talk about the Packers. Packers just have a lot of weapons on offense. Ryan Grant is a solid running back. Greg Jennings, very explosive. Of course, got Donald Driver in there. Michael Finley, I believe. Yeah, Michael Finley. Great. Very solid offense. Very dangerous. Couldn't bust off big plays just about any time. Defensively, always pretty solid. Al Harris and is it Charles Woodson? I think it's Charles Woodson. Very good dynamic duo of cornerbacks. I mean, really rivaling Terrell Revis and Antonio Cromartie in New York for, dynamic duo. Really allows Green Bay's defense to send in all kinds of blitz packages because they can kind of leave them on islands if they're not playing against, really top-level receivers. And A.J. Hawk, great player. Really like him. Great ability. I don't know what else to say about the Packers, but I can talk all day about the Vikings because I know a lot about them. In first place, the Vikings. This is, of course, with Brett Favre. With Tavares Jackson at the helm, it's tough for me to say because the Vikings become one-dimensional, really. It's just with Adrian Peterson, with Brett Favre, they become a team that can pass all over the place with Percy Harvin, Sidney Rice, Bernard Berrien, great wide receivers, and then hit you with the run with Adrian Peterson. Unfortunately, I think Adrian Peterson may struggle a little bit because, for any of you who don't know or don't watch the Packers a lot, or Vikings rather, Adrian Peterson was always, he always had Chester Taylor behind him, who was a very good guy who could take some of the carries off of Adrian Peterson. So I'm not sure how he'll do when he has to literally take every carry pretty much because Chester Taylor's not there. But he needs to fix his fumbling problems too if they really want to consider talk about Super Bowl runs. And the Vikings management really needs to be fixed because they need to realize that this 40-year-old guy is not going to keep coming back. They should have drafted a quarterback in this past draft. I mean, some of the guys fell. The Colt McCoy fell to like the 3rd round. I mean, come on now, guys. Let's talk about drafting a quarterback here. It doesn't even have to be a high-round guy. You saw Mike Kafka, for any of you who don't know that name. He was a quarterback out of Northwestern. I really like his play. Got drafted by the Eagles. He's a fairly mobile quarterback. I think he would have been fine for them, but they need to start talking about getting a quarterback because Brett Favre's not going to be there forever. I mean, 3 years max, I'd say. But defensively, this team is just amazing. Their secondary is their one weakness. That's like their Achilles. But their defensive line, by far the best defensive line in the NFL. Jared Allen, Pat and Kevin Williams, and Ray Edwards. Just all those guys are dangerous. Every single one of them. It's amazing. And their linebacking core is probably fairly underrated. They're very solid, and I think they had a couple of injuries last year, but with a healthy team, this defense is just crazy, and that's one of the reasons why, even without Brett Favre, really, they'd probably be, I'd say they could still have a fairly good shot at going to the playoffs, but I mean, they're not Super Bowl contenders without Brett Favre because he just completes that team, really. So, final predictions here. I'd say I guess about a 6-10 season for the Lions. Probably 7-9 for the Bears. Roughly 10-6, 11-5 for the Packers, and for the Vikings with Brett Favre, probably 12-13 win season. So that would be what, 12-4 or 13-3. So is that right? Yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Also, big shout out to a man by the name of NBA Jerry. Uh, for any of you who are watching this, you may or may not know him. He does kind of, sort of, not really similar thing, but with the NBA. He sent me a very nice message. Very good to see somebody in the YouTube community who's supportive of things. Um, yeah. I'll see you guys later. Yeah. So, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and I will see you guys later.